I think what's going to be really exciting for us as B2B marketers and marketers in general is when there is the level of integration that sort of consolidation will allow. Right now, as marketers, there's point solutions that we put together in a marketing stack to be able to allow that kind of personalization and that optimization of them from a marketing perspective. But to me, that's going to be really interesting when we see that.
Hi, this is Andy North with Velocitize Talks. I'm joined today by Jill Melchionda, Managing Director at April 6 here in San Francisco. Jill, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're the Managing Director at April 6. Tell us a little bit about the firm and some of the exciting work that you guys are up.
Yeah, so April 6 is a global agency. We specialize in technology. That's our sector. And we actually do a lot of work in B2B. So all of our clients are in that field. And I would say what's exciting and new about April 6 is we've recently added a new offering to our core business, which is actually media services. So in the past, we've been predominantly a creative development and design agency, but based on the expectations of our clients and the changing nature of our business, we've actually decided to offer a new service in 2018, and it's been very successful to date.
Talk a little bit about that. What does that bring to some of the work that you're doing for your clients as far as the media services?
Yeah, so I think a number of our clients are looking for that full service offering. So when we design and build programs and campaigns, really having that end-to-end knowledge of the performance of those campaigns is important. In the past, sometimes that becomes spread between several agencies or even in-house as a capability, but being able to sort of develop the creative platform, develop the strategy to support that, and of course look at how that is performing in the market and how we can optimize is increasingly important.
Have you seen new marketing technology that is enabling better content, such as personalization? Are you guys doing much in the realm of personalization, and are we just at the very beginning of that?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. We are, I don't think we're at the very beginning anymore. I mean, certainly we are in all of our programs looking for ways to make content and the experience for the consumer or the buyer more relevant. And personalization is obviously a natural way to get there, but just thinking about what information a prospect needs at different points in their purchase decision is incredibly critical and is part of almost every program that we work on with our clients. So we're absolutely seeing that kind of personalization and relevance being embedded in the content that we're creating for our clients.
You mentioned that you do a lot of work B2B on the B2B side. Are you seeing a bit of a crossover from a marketing perspective from perhaps using some of the B2C concepts that are now resonating with your B2B clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's sharing back and forth between B2B and B2C. Certainly, we are keeping an eye on what innovations and advances happen on the B2C side and applying those to our B2B clients where applicable. I would say the biggest difference between the B2C and B2B is that B2B decisions are, as you know, often much longer decision processes, much higher price point, and so therefore the decisions are a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more education that takes place. And I think that's sort of the primary factor that affects how marketing needs to be different for the B2B audience versus the B2C audience. The other factor is, you've got often a group buying decision where there are multiple stakeholders, multiple decision makers, and you have to think about your content, your marketing, and how you're engaging with those prospects and buyers differently because of that group buying mentality.
Are there any technologies that we talked about AI a little bit that you are excited about personally that are coming down in the next 3 to 5 years from a B2B perspective?
Yeah, it's funny, Andy. There's the marketing technology Lumascape. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's 7,500 companies today, and only 4% of those companies were even around 4 years ago. So I think in some ways there's a lot of consolidation that's going to happen in that industry, and we're seeing it already today with acquisitions like Marketo by Adobe, and many others that have happened and will happen. I think what's going to be really exciting for us as B2B marketers and marketers in general is when there is the level of integration that sort of consolidation will allow. Right now, as marketers, there's point solutions that we put together in a marketing stack to be able to allow that kind of personalization and that optimization of them from a marketing perspective. But to me, that's going to be really interesting when we see that coming to fruition.
Let's jump to building an agency. You're obviously managing director here at April 6 in San Francisco. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in building and growing your business that you see perhaps other agencies facing as well? And what are the opportunities, part two of the question, what are the opportunities out there that you foresee coming, particularly for agencies in the B2B field?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I had a really, I would say, rare and exciting opportunity when I was hired to grow the San Francisco and the North American presence for April 6 about 5 years ago. And I loved this opportunity because the agency had a very specific vision, mission, and purpose. And I think one of the things that's been I would say critical to our success in this market and my success in this role is that we have a very distinctive proposition, which is we are a specialist agency in with technology brands and in the B2B sector. And I've worked at lots of different agencies that oftentimes talk about, how great our ideas are or how great our people are. And those are always, always true. I think our industry attracts, the best and the brightest. But I think where the industry is going and what has been fundamental to our success is that focus and the special knowledge that we bring to our clients has differentiated us and has really helped to make the clients that we work with successful, and then by default make the agency successful.
So how do you, as a specialized agency in that particular field, stay on top of all the tech trends? And I'm sure you've had clients come that say, hey, what about personalization? Mm-hmm. Let's go further down that road. How do you as an agency owner stay on top of those and with your team manage to try to stay ahead of your clients?
Yeah. So we spend time investing in strategic partnerships, and we have a select group of companies that we work with in order to be aligned with the leaders in their particular area or field. As I mentioned, there's 7,500 companies, but within that there's 20 or so groups of companies and of categories that we need to stay in tune with. So through those strategic partners, we are able to kind of be aligned with the leaders. We do invest in attending a fair amount of events and conferences. We have a number that we think are sort of the places that you have to be knowledgeable in our industry. So whether it's me or folks from our team on the leadership level at April 6th, we like to attend those. And then frankly, one of the wonderful things about being an agency is we're always working with new clients. We're always engaged and being introduced to new businesses. And by that exposure, we are learning about the things that they're learning about and talking about. And so we're exposed to a lot of different ways to go to market and technologies to support that.
So not only are you leading and guiding your clients, but in some cases they're actually offering new opportunities for you to learn and grow.
That's right. And I always tell clients one of the benefits of working with an agency versus building it in-house is that your agency should be your partner to make sure you're exposed to best practices from all of their clients. So, our agency has, 15, 20 clients. From that, we see what's working. We see what's not working. We see what people have tried and evolved, and we can bring that knowledge and insight to our clients.
What about consumer experience, user experience, et cetera? Now that consumers are having access to a lot of the same information that their salespeople would, do you see that user experience is becoming a differentiator when it comes to branding? Is it the new branding?
Yeah. So technology is essentially what is behind this massive shift that's happened, and the impact for us as marketers is that what we used to do, in the past doesn't work as well as it did. Interruptive marketing, like digital advertising, doesn't have the impact it did even, a few short years ago. So what that means for all of us as marketers is we have to think about how to connect with our audiences in ways that are relevant and meaningful. And the new currency of marketing, social, digital, data, those are all new practices that we have to integrate. And like I said, we've got this massive, number of technologies to help make that easier, but really there's no silver bullet. And what we believe at April 6th is that you really need to focus on connecting with your audience even when you don't know who they are. So finding ways to make things more personalized and make things more relevant to them without actually knowing them, which is tricky as a marketer. And I think to your point around customer experience being the new brand currency, to me, what that means is it's not just how you represent your brand. It's not just what your product looks like. It's thinking about your brand as the conversations that you're sparking between you and your prospective customers. It's thinking about telling multiple stories with a singular voice, and it's actually thinking about your marketing as something you can optimize and get better with time, because you're getting insights from the data and seeing the performance of your programs.
Which is an excellent segue to my next question. You touched on data. There's been a ton of conversation around data. Is it too much? Are we using it too much? Is there more we can do with it, but in safer ways? Do you have any thoughts on it? And how do you speak to your clients who come to you and with concerns about how do we use data, but in a safe way?
Yeah, one of the things that is really significant for B2B marketers, and I'm sure you've spoken to other marketers about this, is the ability to do more account-based marketing. So doing marketing that is personalized to a particular account rather than, a wide swath of potential individuals. And I think it's a way of leveraging knowledge and insights about your prospects and the companies you're trying to connect with, without necessarily crossing into territory that is uncomfortable from a data perspective. And so a lot of our clients are doing what we call account-based marketing. So getting insights about the account, identifying, who those decision makers are within the account, and actually creating programs and campaigns and marketing efforts specifically to those accounts and the individuals within those.
Well, let's talk about your career. You've had an outstanding career building and growing agencies throughout your career. Are there any lessons learned that you'd like to share with any of our viewers who may be young in their careers and looking to get into the digital or technology industries?
Oh my gosh, yes, so much. So I think one of the things that drew me into marketing and being in the agency business at the beginning of my career is still one of the things that guides me today, which is that it's an incredibly dynamic and exciting industry. And the things that I love about it are, one, you get the opportunity to always balance that marriage of business, delivery, and creativity. And that's the thing that I don't think will ever change about marketing, and I hope will never change about the agency business, which is this great balance of marrying those two disciplines, which is, I think a really exciting thing when you're early in your career, and it has kept me energized by the agency business my whole career. The other thing that I think is so powerful about being on the agency side that has kept me here also is the fact that you get so much exposure to so many interesting businesses. And one day I'll be learning about software-defined data centers, and the next day we'll be talking about account-based marketing for the industry leader in that space. And then the next day we'll be talking about cash flow advances. So, these don't sound maybe that exciting or interesting, but I actually love learning about our clients' businesses and understanding their path to market by kind of getting inside their businesses. So I think when I look to sort of build our agency and inspire and hire people that have that same passion, those are sort of some of the things that I talk about.
Our guest today has been Jill Melchionda from April 6. She's the managing director at April 6 office here in San Francisco. Jill, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.